Hey guys, you're watching Divide by Zero Gaming, and this is going to be Game 2 of the DuckloadRa, also known as WhiteRa, versus RoxkisAbver series. This is a best of 3 show match, I believe. I may have that wrong, but I think it was a best of 3. And WhiteRa did manage to take the first game on Lost Temple with a cannon rush, actually, something you don't see every day in the pro leagues, but hey, he made it work for him. So now we're moving on to Game 2. This is going to be on Metalopolis. We do have, as I said, WhiteRa here is the red Protoss, and Abver is the yellow Zerg, switching their colors up a little bit since last game. They are spawning on opposite sides of Metalopolis here, and before I get too carried away with myself, I'm going to let Hugh say a few words.
Hey guys, what's going on? Like NS said, this is on Metalopolis, so an interesting map. I like this map quite a bit, and I actually want to see if this probe is going to see the Overlord. Actually, he's not even going to look up there at all, so he's just going to forget about that. I guess that's his next position anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just little cutesy things like that. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Maybe we'll see something a little bit longer this game. Not a huge fan of the short games. I definitely like watching really long, epic games, but who knows?
Yeah, we may see another short game here, we may not. Nobody really knows. We actually know because we can see the replay time, but we're going to leave you guys in suspense here. And you guys actually know because you can see the time on the video, but we're still going to pretend to leave you in suspense. So we do have Abver getting his spawning pool here. Meanwhile, back in WhiteRa's base, he's going for a little more of a standard build. We did see him do the fast forge wall last time on Lost Temple, but that's something you really can't do on Metalopolis. Getting the fast expansion on this map is always difficult because you have this huge entryway right here, and you also have this second entryway right here, so holding this early game can actually be very difficult if your opponent decides to apply a little bit of pressure. So we do have WhiteRa instead doing a semi-wall in here, getting some stuff inside his base, and it looks like he's waiting to, yep, there goes a cybernetics core there, dropping that as well to complete his wall and a little bit more. Not deciding to get a Zealot yet, so it looks like he's probably going to wait and just get that first Stalker out. He does already have his gas. And back in Abver's base, we do have the spawning pool already finished, and I thought that was a drone on the minimap, but it turns out it's actually an Overlord. WhiteRa once again putting a probe here. We'll keep an eye on that and see what he decides to do over there.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he dropped a pylon there when he saw a couple of Zerglings coming in. Just the initial drone scout there. Pretty standard play so far. Nothing too interesting. I really like that pylon spread there to see if any funky business is going on. And yeah, I'm just waiting. We have the Zergling speed coming out as well as the second assimilator. And at this point, it's just warp gate technology. Didn't actually drop that pylon there, which guess doesn't really matter at all. It does seem... Oh, jeez. He was definitely looking for that high yield until he chased the probe through there. And
yeah, it looks like he's going to go back for it, though. So that's actually very clever. I think he managed to cancel that before the probe even saw it and then put it back up. And now WhiteRa's not really going to know about that at all.
Yeah, being a little greedy here. Early game, he is very sad that he had to lose that first game to the cheese, and now he's going to go for a similar sort of type cheese build here, and it's just going to be a matter of if the Protoss player pushes out at any point, because he's going to be weak for a little bit, moving that queen out right at the moment, and yeah, he's just going to be running off a couple units in the beginning, but once that high yield gets saturated, his income is going to shoot through the roofs, and he's just going to surpass the Protoss player no matter what he does.
Yeah, it looks like I'm blanking on his name right now. Abver might be going for a little bit of early pressure here, getting some Zerglings, but WhiteRa does have a nice little setup here going with this wall and with these units to defend it. The Stalker to drive off the Zerglings if they should decide to start attacking the gateway and try to lure the Zealot out. Even a sentry there, so some force fields if it really called for it, but at this point, there's not really enough forces to warrant that quite yet. So Abver's going to have a hard time breaking through there for the time being. He's going to need quite a few more units if he plans to do anything like that, or try to get some other kind of entry, such as a Nidus Worm or something in the back of WhiteRa's base.
Yeah, he's trying to give WhiteRa here the false sense of aggression when he didn't see that first the early expansion go down. So he's trying to make it seem like he has a lot of units poking up at the front, seeing what he has. But it does look like WhiteRa here is going to go for kind of a four-gate push, and I don't think the expansion's had enough mining time. We'll see if he's able to hold it. If he can't hold it, it's going to be very unfortunate.
Yeah, he's actually wisely putting a pylon there just to create a complete wall in, because he can warp in his units on the outside to reinforce, and this way he doesn't have to worry about Zerglings doing a run-by while his base is undefended. He does come up here, and he is going to see this expansion. All the drones come off to try to deal with this. The spine crawler isn't done yet, so we'll see if WhiteRa manages to hurry and take this out before that finishes. The Queen trying to help out here, but it just doesn't look like it's going to be enough.
Yeah, I would have liked to see a couple force fields there to protect his stalkers and sentries a little better. He didn't throw those down, and he's gonna probably have to cancel that spine crawler. I wouldn't let that finish. I'm not sure if he let that finish. It's just gonna go down after a couple hits there, and these roaches even being taken out. So I don't know if he's gonna be able to hold this expansion. It's not looking great. He definitely is losing the mining time on it, and here come a couple more straggling Zerglings. It's just a question. I don't know if he can hold this off really, and he's gonna probably lose this expansion at this point. He went for the greedy play, and that was one build he could not afford have happen to him.
Yeah, at this point he's just bringing everything he has to try to hold this, and honestly I think it would have been a bit of a better play to bring his units back here, just gather them up here and try to defend this base after the units got there, because if he had waited back he would have had a terrain advantage and he might have actually been able to hold off that push. Maybe not, but I think he would have had a better chance than just continuously streaming units in to try to defend this expansion.
Right, I think at this point in the game he really had to just take that expansion or leave it at that point. And he kind of just did this weak flow of units into there, like you said, and really just throwing up that expansion there, I don't 100% agree with. I think he definitely went all in on this build, and it was just showing that he wasn't, I guess, afraid to do anything crazy. It was, as far as we know, a BattleNet game, so there was nothing at the lines here, so they're just having fun. And altogether, another short game, so not a lot to say about it. I definitely like the aggression and the false sense of aggression from our Zerg player.
Yeah, so apparently we did actually screw up the details of this once again, because this is clearly not a best of 3, considering that WhiteRa has already won the first 2 games and we do have another game to cast. So I guess it was like a best of 5 or whatever, because we still have more games that we're going to keep pumping out. So we're going to move on to game 3 of this and see where things take us from there.
Alright, see you guys later.